Welcome to the channel. Today I'm speaking on a book, The Chariot of Desi, a short story by Daniel Lupiani. That is me doing a quick review of this first publication of mine. And so it's been a day of pushing forward with courage and creativity to help bring down some barriers. It's been a bit it's been fun. It's very interesting stepping into the publishing realm. The quality of my book that I spoke, the recording, not very well, and that's quite obvious, and I do need to purchase some equipment, but the journey was a lot of fun. I wrote this book, actually I shouldn't say I wrote, I spoke it. I have been working on writing a novel for a while, and it's been a bit difficult with working and really getting into the writer's mindset. It's one of the things I do is I just do a lot of speaking exercises. And so I decided a while ago to start speaking really on all my daily activities. So when I go for a bike ride, I walk, I'm turning that into an opportunity to create a story. And that's what I did on this day. A couple days ago, went on a bike ride, and I just started speaking the entire time, just bringing forth as much as the observable world around me without too much detail into a story already being built, the universe of destiny, which I'm calling it. And it came forth with this book. Now, it's not the best written book because I really wanted to stay within the original raw spoken text as much as possible. And I just wanted something quick, and I wanted something to publish to begin moving forward with the greater universe, with this greater project, and a couple other projects that I'm working on. So, welcome to the channel. I thank you for giving me the time, and hopefully you listen to the story. And again, I just apologize for the quality, but investments are being made to improve that, both the written content or spoken content and actually the audio quality. So let's dive in a little bit. The Universe of Destiny is the greater novel, hopefully a series of books, a very large universe that I am building, and hopefully the goal is to write in a way to bring about participation with other writers to grow it. And so this story is a small component of that, a single character, and I try to weave in as much of the greater universe, things that are going on, as much as possible. And so the story follows Desi, a younger man living on a planet that has been invaded by what I'm calling the Astra Mordun, an empire, a very evil, insidious, unclean empire, or creation actually, not really an alternate universe, but a counter universe to what he's living in. And they invaded the universe and took over his planet and just devouring his planet of resources, and somehow brought in a bit of a religious social coup to bring about the idea that beauty, clarity, enlightenment, creativity, courage are all kind of evil ways, and that their former gods, their former religion, which has escaped much of the universe due to what I call a enlightenment rapture, has taken that religion and replaced it with basically a form of materialistic hedonism, trying to just drive the economy for some sort of vain, glorious achievement. At some point in the future, something spectacular is going to grade through this economic hedonism. But it's really just a economy built upon, basically a hamster wheel is what I would call it. And they just put a bushel over the beauty and potential of society. And you can see a lot of parallels of that in our modern day society. You know, and Desi does not submit to this. Desi does not want to take part in the hedonism, does not want to give up his place on the battlefield for destiny. And so he's a bit of an architect of his own future through courage, creativity, participating in the creationary architecture that has been created, in the very beginning of the universe, and his kind of awakening to beauty. It's a bit fast-paced. It jumps through scenes a little bit, but I did not want to take away from the journey. I wanted to... And so the story is a bit fast-paced, jumps around a little bit, but that's just because I wanted to stay as close as possible to the raw and authentic voice that was coming forth on the journey. I didn't want to take it back and then completely start scripting away at it, inserting different words or inserting different ideas just to bring a story that could sell and just be a bit more well polished. It needed to be raw, needed to be authentic, and it needed to be almost, in a sense, not the best quality. To bring forth this idea of true story, writing, actually being there, writing the story in the present, and bringing that idea out. So that's what I did, and I wanted to bring as much symbolism as I can, and give the idea that we need to have a society that breaks away from this hedonism and into the architecture of beauty. And so Desi's bicycle, that is that's not just a transportation mechanism. That's a bridge from one world to the other. His existence, where he starts, his origin, is just a place of existence. His destination is the beauty, is the coming to see beauty, accept beauty, and understanding the importance of fighting for it and protecting it, and not leaving the battlefield to go off and chase adventurous beauty or some vain beauty that would just lead to a life of hedonism that doesn't bring about the true, genuine, authentic self identity that you need to contribute meaningfully in society. So he stays the path. His bike is a means into the battlefield and is a means of staying on the battlefield. And he does so with work, devoted work. And he uses the bike to break down barriers. The architecture of beauty. So what we have in one world that Desi begins in is the world of hedonism, basically, driven and created, engineered by the automobile. And so your life is kind of dictated by the automobile. How you socially climb the ladder is, do you have an automobile to get to a good job, or do you walk to the local store to work? And this is really survival mode for Desi. And so this escape that he gets on his bike is a means to start bringing forth the work, the devotion, and the creative energy to begin building a bridge into a future architecture that he can then really prosper in, have an identity in, and hopefully advance the perimeter so that where he is where destiny, beauty, the first principles of what I'd like to say of the ancients who left the universe, these first principles of beauty, destiny, courage, participation, creativity can begin to flourish. And so you build a bridge from one area to another, and you build up both sides. Devotion and courage. Reaching the community of Fonterra, a town that holds the line quite literally with preserving and protecting beauty and making sure it's always going to be there for a future generation. This architecture exists for a far bigger reason than just for people to live a quality life. It's to exist so that hopefully one day the perimeter of this town can expand and be replicated. And that is how you would ultimately come to defend or persevere against the oppressive forces, tyrannical forces that want to bushel creativity, beauty. And so the bike is a means of almost like a power generation, of charging, of igniting the flame of liberty. And you're riding along the perimeter, igniting it. And you're not so much of challenging these oppressive forces, but you're letting them know that I'm not leaving the field of battle. And that's what he does on his bike. So I hope you do find this review, or found the review, interesting. I do tend to bring different views on things, and I very much try to step outside of conformity as much as possible, and do so not for my own opportunity to speak and be heard, but hopefully to expand the perimeter of creativity, expand against these oppressive forces that unfortunately in modern society have greatly dampened our creative expression. And so I encourage you to get on your bike and pedal. Take a look at the story. You can hear the audio quality, which is not as good, or you can also buy the physical on the link in the description. But just stay committed to pedaling. Stay committed to your creative adventures, your creative pursuits, and do not leave the field of battle. And always be a creative rebel, expanding the perimeter so that more participants can join in the battle.